Today, we're thinking about what or who we can rely on. As you can see, I'm showing some pictures of a bridge. This is the bridge that is adjacent or adjoining our property at Tramar. It's approximately 150 years old, an old railway bridge which goes over the road. And as you can see, it's in good condition, and it's quite a good feature to have a bridge as part of your garden. This bridge is part of the old Caradon Railway, which used to carry various raw materials from the Caradon Hill all the way down to Moore's Water in the Scard. And it's had a varied life. It started off, so I believe, with horse-drawn carriages on the railway, and then it went to steam engines, and then of course eventually, before the First World War, the railway track was made redundant and the rails were taken up and used for metal for the war. And now it's part of our garden. People have said, oh, couldn't they restore the railway as a walkway? But unfortunately there are houses built right across the track, not ours, but some others, and so that would be impossible to do. But it's still a lovely feature, and as you can see, look at all the granite. How amazing how they were able to do that sort of thing even without mechanical tools. And it's in such good condition, and it stood the test of time. And that's really why I'm showing you the bridge today. As you see now, we've got a rockery on it and a lawn, and it's just lovely to just go on there and see the cars and look down through the leaves of the trees. Really nice feature. This bridge has stood the test of time. It's something that can be relied upon. They tell me that many years ago, when the steam trains went over it, occasionally Sunday school trips were had, again going from the Scard up to Caradon. Well, as we come to the end of this piece, I want to share with you some thoughts I have about who or what we can rely on in an uncertain and changing world.
The last 2 years have been horrendous, haven't they, really, with the pandemic and all the problems that we faced. And, you know, with the vaccine coming on, I guess we were all hoping that it would be over. But yet it does seem that the effects of COVID-19 are going to be with us for a long time. And it also seems that we're going to be suffering with shortages and various problems with products, whether it be food, whether it be building materials, whatever. And you know, it's almost as though no one seems to be able to explain why, you know, completely why this is happening. And I was sort of looking into this a bit and thinking, well, if you look at the world is you know, humankind has got it balanced really well. There's sort of just enough ships, there's just enough containers, there's been just enough lorries, there's been just enough this, just enough that, because, you know, we try and skin everything to the bone, you know, so that we make most profit, I guess. And then we've had a whole year since first lockdown where everything stopped and nothing was produced, and of course very little was consumed as well, so that wasn't a problem. But then when the supply chain didn't open up at the same time as other things, then you got this concertina effect, where sometimes there was enough, sometimes there wasn't, and now it seems it's worse as everything's opened up. There just isn't enough to go round. What are we going to do about it? Well, it's going to take time, I think, to overcome. Even if COVID went away, you would find it would take them. It's sort of rather like if you're on a motorway and there's an accident, and you're in this snarl up, and then the accident clears, but there's still a snarl up. Because you get to where the accident is, no accident anymore, but you've been in a queue for ages, and it's just like that. We're in this sort of throwback that's going to go on, and it'll mean we'll need lots of patience, to be able to cope. And so there's going to be lots of shortages, but I don't really think it's anything to worry about. And I believe there's ways we can cope, right? Special ways we can cope. We'll look at that in a moment. But as we deal with these shortages, things are made worse. For instance, when the Ever Given, the ship, got caught up in the Suez Canal, that made things worse. And Brexit has probably made things worse as well. And that's not a political statement, it's just a fact, that all these things added together, and there's going to be more of a blip. I suppose something like, years ago when the volcano in Iceland erupted and it stopped all the air traffic, it affected everything. And so here we are in this world where things that we could rely on, we can't anymore. So who can we rely on? That's the key, really. Who? Well, here's a verse from the end of the book of Deuteronomy. This is the end of Moses' reign as leader of Israel. The guy who led them out of Egypt, out of slavery, across the Red Sea into the wilderness, did many miracles. And this is one of the last things that he says. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And that's where I would encourage you to go today. Go to the eternal God, because he does have everlasting arms that will be under you to keep you safe, to lift you up. So I said that we are experiencing a certain amount of shortages, and will continue to. But one thing that isn't in short supply, or needn't be in short supply, is kindness. And we need lots of that in these days. We need to be kind to one another. And the Lord God can give us an abundant dose of kindness that we can share with others. Understanding, patience, even love. Those are the things that this world need right now, more than ever. We've, as it were, come from a materialistic age, a materialistically driven age, and now we cannot rely on those things anymore. We can't rely on going on holiday, can we? Many things we can't rely on. So it's time to turn even more to the Lord God, whom we can rely on. St. Paul was very good on this. He shares this. This is at the end of the book of Philippians. Again, here's a guy who's at this point in prison. And he says this: I rejoice greatly in the Lord that at last you renew your concern for me. Indeed, you have shown it before. I'm not saying this because I am in need, for I've learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. And that's the key, I believe, is that in Jesus we can learn to be content in every situation. Well, no matter what the next few weeks and months hold, no matter if you have your favourite food or not, you're going to get through it. And remember, Jesus Christ is on the throne. He's the most reliable person that there's ever been. He's always been there, and he always will be. Put your trust in him. Have a good week. Bye for now.